two of you come inside. The rest of you wait out here. But he has something shiny.
Red.
Something nice.
I've been waiting for you both. Many a long time.
Hey guys, what's happening? Niyat here with Film Comics Explained, and in light of the recent failure of the Hellboy reboot, I thought we could go back in time to when Guillermo del Toro helmed the series by diving into the Angel of Death featured in Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, exploring its inspirations rooted in religious mythology and the process that led to the creature's creation for the film. Now, in the movie, the Angel of Death is explained as being a personification of Hellboy's personal death, having claimed to always be present at the crossroads in the half-demon's life, wherever he may die. Unlike the many references to angels of death across various religions that were servants to their respective god, tasked with either transporting the souls of those that died to the afterlife, or killing those that were chosen by their master, the Angel of Death featured in the Hellboy series was tasked with overlooking the fate of Hellboy, and Hellboy alone. One of the most important things that we know about Hellboy was that he was destined to be the beast of the apocalypse. Bearing the right hand of doom, which came from one of the Watchers who made the Ogru Jihad, Hellboy possesses the one thing capable of waking the terrible beasts from their prison and unleashing them to end the days of man. For a long time, this has essentially been the main focus of his destiny, and the thing that he's constantly attempted to avoid, with several examples of him choosing to save the life of humans over the creatures that he also shared kinship with. It's explained that for the longest time, the Angel of Death resided in the ruins of Beth Mora, the ancient city of the elves, anticipating the many possible deaths of Hellboy and the number of directions his destiny could go depending on his actions and the current choices of those around him. Here the angel waited, fixed solely on its single task, not paying much attention to those that knew of its power, and it sought to bribe it for magical favors. With the arrival of Liz Sherman and an injured Hellboy, under the guidance of a goblin that knew the area, the Angel of Death immediately pointed towards Red and called him Anung Un Rama, which was the name given to him by his father Azael, an Archduke of Hell, and his witch mother Sarah. It then explains that it had been waiting for them both to arrive for many years, though it did not know exactly when they'd come. It then offers Liz the choice of either saving Red, which it prophesied would lead to the eventual destruction of the world by his hands, or letting him die, which would save the world from a fiery doom, the likes of which had been alluded to in the series. Given that she had loved him, and with the recent revelation that she was carrying his child, Liz ultimately chooses Red over the world, ignoring the warning given to her by the Angel of Death. The reason for this was that Liz had seen Hellboy make several choices in the hopes of forsaking his dark destiny and its connection to Hell, as seen in the previous film where he renounces his birthright of essentially becoming a dark ruler and gatekeeper of the pitiless and chaotic entities known as the Ogru Jihad, who were bent on destruction and subjugation. It's also important to note that he also decided to destroy the very last elemental to save a baby and other residents of the city in which it was released, alluding to the possibility that the revelation that he would be a father would also help him straighten out his priorities, and in essence prevent him from turning into the beast of the apocalypse. As I'd mentioned earlier, the idea of an Angel of Death is present throughout several religions, where the entity is often described as either an angelic being, a cloaked skeletal figure with a sickle, to even a small child. While the details vary, the core belief is that the being comes to a person at the moment of death, either causing their death or simply observing it, with the purpose of then taking the person's soul to the abode of the dead. This of course differs slightly to the entity featured in the film that doesn't appear to have any master, and seems to have more in common with the Soothsayer that was a combination of the Angel of Death and a guardian angel, destined to guide Hellboy through his lifetime by appearing in moments where he was close to death. However, though we don't see it take away his soul, in part due to Liz's choice, I think that had she have chosen the world, the Angel of Death would have transported Hellboy back to Hell where his father and mother resided, facilitating a similar function to the angelic beings featured in religious lore. Now, unlike some of the creatures and characters taken directly out of Mike Mignola's comic book series like Hellboy, Abe Sapien, and Cronin the Inhuman Assassin, a few of whom I've already covered on this channel and will be leaving links to below, many of the other characters like Prince Nuada and the Angel of Death were actually first envisioned by Del Toro himself, who'd sketched them in a notebook many years prior. Del Toro originally conceived the idea for another project he'd hoped to make in 1994, which was an unmade film titled Mephisto's Bridge. The director explained it was inspired by a Mexican painting in a church where archangels have eyes in every feather. When it comes to its design, after the initial sketch, the character went through different iterations at the hands of concept artists like Wayne Barlow and Norman Cabrera, who was chosen to helm the creature's development. Guillermo told the pair to use ancient German woodcuts and Byzantine-era depictions of angels as a visual reference of where to go with the overall design. The director had also impressed upon them the need to consider every angel of death they'd seen in films, and to abandon these versions of the entity in favour of doing something original. Now, the only guidelines given to Cabrera was that the phenomenal actor and movement specialist Doug Jones, who was a longtime collaborator of Guillermo's, would be playing the character, and that the effects needed to be practical, without any reliance on digital modifications. Once finalized, the angel design was translated to full size, and Cabrera sculpted the body portions that would be applied on the performer, such as the facial appliances, gloves, and a chest piece that the actor would have to wear. Because they were constructed to be practical, the wings could fold, unfurl, and flap through knee-like gears, and the eyes on them were designed to change angles as the wings extended or retracted. His vivid imagination, love of creatures, and especially his affinity and preference of working with practical effects over CGI when possible, is one of the reasons Guillermo del Toro is considered to be a master of monsters.
Give me a little beat before the jump. Oh crap. So, what it is you have the baby, action, you turn, oh crap, and you prepare to jump. Did you get that in slow motion? Oh crap.
Well, that's all for today, folks. A big thanks to all of you guys who requested we explore the Angel of Death as featured in Hellboy 2: The Golden Army. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click the notification icon to stay up to date on all my content, and if there's anything else you'd like to request, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niyat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.
Can you save him?
It is for you to decide that. But you should know, it is his destiny to bring about destruction.